Hey, while I'm making... My phone is falling. Okay. Yes. So while... Welcome back. So while I am making my update on my Instagram story, it's not loading, but I kind of need one to post in general on my general feed, I guess. So this is my update. So far, I have enough to cover a one-way flight to Poland, near the Ukraine border, which is where pretty much the teams are staying. Most of them are on the Poland side, I believe. So, yeah, I have that. So thank you, everyone who has supported me this far, and also everyone, honestly, who has showed concern and not wanted me to go. All of those concerns did prompt me to examine my heart more, because I have been just so often just thinking of orphans, and my heart will just break. I can't even describe it, because right now I'm just saying the word orphan and it matters and it's so important. But sometimes when I just think of actual orphans, it's I am just overwhelmed and will fall to my knees sobbing. It's kind of crazy. But because of all these concerns, I was at church and the pastor was preaching on responding versus reacting. And because everyone's hey, I really I'm concerned, are you sure you want to do this? I really did have to take it to God, and I was okay, God, I am content just praying. I'm content just supporting from afar. I'm giving this back to you. And so I felt to everything I had raised up to that Sunday, which was $788. I felt to give it directly to the team, and it took me a while to figure out how to get that out of different accounts into their account. But basically, I did that, and I now feel twice as much to go, and I have less money to put towards it. So anyways, but I have again now surpassed that number, so I have about 1,000. It's kind of spread out and I'm bad with math, but about 1,000, maybe 1,100 or 200, which would cover a one-way ticket, which you cannot fly on a one-way to international. So I'm still needing that other half, and then once I have that, then I can give that to my church leaders, and then they can officially tell me my next steps. But I got my international driver's license already. I would not have thought this was going to happen this year, but in the meantime, I've been trying to dream with the Lord, which sounds crazy, but yeah, I love Jesus, in case you guys didn't know, and I believe he leads and guides people and speaks to them about their purpose, their destiny, who they are, how to feel about everything. So yeah, basically I was dreaming with God, and I was just okay, if the common question to find out what your dream is so if money was not an issue, and if all things were possible, exactly what would the desired outcome be? I would $1 million. What would the desired outcome be? Yeah. And really, if money was not an option, and there was no red tape, there was no problems with anything, I would want to leave Ukraine, having started a adoption agency which pairs adoption with trauma care, as all orphans and foster kids need trauma care. And I've needed trauma care, and I was not in the foster system, but just the statistics, they need it. And especially these kids coming out of now war, and I've heard a lot of them are like losing it a little, so a lot. Anyways, so if money was not an option, is that, I feel like I'm confusing it because I'm dyslexic, but if money was not a item, I can just see and have dreamed about planes and planes of kids leaving the war zone and going to not just families, but temporarily, but like actually getting adopted and actually having a structure that is going to protect them from further abuse by the families they're going to, which that is an also issue, is not everyone has the best motives when adopting children. And so I can just see that they need like a come along therapist or like advocate for them, like even after they're adopted. They need this kind of standby person. So I also am currently at my friend's house. It's a ministry house, and she has offered it to me to do foster care here. So I was actually already going through the process of fostering here in Washington State. But it's like, as I was in the Zoom meeting with the my foster care point person, all I could think of was bringing Ukrainian kids back here for safekeeping and to help deal with all of their trauma. And so there's literally a house, and like never before, I've met other girls with the heart as that I have. And so I just even see getting a house or houses, and then interns, like young women and young men who have a heart to a father and mother heart and time and energy, but just are not in that stage of life yet to have their own children. And I believe that will be the seed for them one day to have a heart to actually adopt their own kids. And oh my gosh, the amazing girls that I know right now who just so happen to be learning about trauma, who just so happen to have a heart for foster care. And then, this could be happening. But of course, back in the Ukraine, Poland side, there's a lot of red tape. And so it would take a lot of advocating. So if money wasn't an option, and I keep saying option, if money was not a hindrance, it would still take going to the leaders of these nations who are very inaccessible right now, but having laws changed and really, the statistics, they just don't lie. Kids are not developing properly. They're not gonna be contributing members of society until they're able to really be cared for on a deep level and have that connection with someone who truly loves them, as a mother and father should and would. And if this was a perfect world, they would have had that. But it's not a perfect world. And people are worried that I'm going, but I'm like, there's millions of people there already. And am I so special that, I shouldn't go and protect myself when I really feel like I have a purpose there? And that's what I feel like my purpose is. It seems like an impossible dream, but it's at least, I'm 30, and it's at least, moving forward in the direction. And even if I in my lifetime can never do this, I think at least I can like give people the vision to do it. And I knew I would cry, so I'm gonna stop myself and say it. Yeah, I just, like, I cannot stand seeing this world so corrupt that there's more people in the world willing to traffic kids than adopt them. And I know there's so many good hearts out there. And I know that the church has to be the answer to this impossible, like, crazy issue. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, is that not crazy to anyone else that there's more people targeting orphans and foster kids to get them into trafficking than there is willing to be a mother and father for them, like a good parent? Like, it's so heartbreaking. And right now in Ukraine, of course, in wartime, in trouble, in trial, that's when traffickers come out of the woodwork. And it's just like this, like, everything's against these kids right now. Like, everything is against them. And so just to have people going there to be for them and to, like, care, like, it's a huge deal for them. Like, that's so good for them. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to take, like, one person. I think, like, different people have different connections and gifts. And I think that the more people that go with that heart to bring it, and I'm sorry, but it's not even just Ukrainian kids. This is like a global issue. It's literally so many kids. And there's so many believers. There's so many people with these, like, good hearts. But then, like, it's like there literally has to be a way to do it God's way, where the kids who are adopted don't become a horror story. Like, there has to be something. And, like, I just, like, close my eyes and I think about it, and like, literally the only thing I can think of is, like, having someone initially there to walk them through trauma who's gonna be there for their whole life. I don't know. And, like, that person doesn't have to be committing to be their parent and devote, 365 days a year, but just, like, 1 day a week for their whole life. Like, how perfect would that be? I mean, not perfect, but how, helpful would that be? Anyways, I don't know how I went off on that tangent, but that's my why behind going. And I guess my other thing is, I have no idea if there are kids trapped in Ukraine. Like, I think that there are. And that's, like, another thing is, like, this is not a child's issue. Like, this is not something any child should be responsible for. Like, not in Russia, not in Ukraine. There's no child that has any say in this. And they're literally just victims. And even the fact that it's almost like the dark is working to trap them, because even their own, I don't know what she is, I can't remember, but there's someone in Ukraine who has said, to protect the children right now, we're putting a hold on adoption. And it's like, she hasn't even looked into what adoption can do in a child's life and what not being adopted will do. Like, the statistics on the kids getting trafficked, getting on drugs, like, becoming, like, jobless, not graduating. It's, like, glaring. It's not even, like, a question. Like, kids have to get adopted to have a bright future. And, like, when kids are not adopted and then somehow make something of themselves, it is, like, 1 in a million. It's that person is a miracle, and that's so amazing if that has been you. But overall, it's just too much trauma for a child to deal with. So I guess I got on that subject. But yeah, something else that has been less on my heart, but like as much, I guess, is everything I do, I'm always like trying to find the better way to do it. But I've heard that the teams there have really been able to last like 2 weeks in a healthy way because, excuse me, because they're just mentally exhausted. They're facing all these people who are so traumatized and angry. Like, you know, the stages of grief, it is anger, it is rage, it is tears. It is really exhausting for people who are, you know, coming to try to like walk people through this. And it's amazing because these teams have been successful in helping people get hope in Jesus. Have hope again. That's huge. Like have a life change. That's huge. And to walk them through trauma, like even for myself, like the traumas I've made it through, like I couldn't have been an okay person without having someone walk me through things. So like that's huge. But they've been like neglecting themselves, and so they're not lasting very long, I guess. So my dream is also to have be the person or have a person who's just intentionally checking in, making sure everyone's drinking water, getting vitamins, because there's a lot of sick people around. And so that it's more focused on longevity of the people as well as, you know, like saving people. Like, they're not eating, like the team is not eating. They're like maybe 1 meal a day. They're emotionally, like some are going to come back needing their own counsel and their own trauma specialist to like walk them through what they've seen, what they've heard, what they've taken on themselves. And so I believe that, you know, like we are a body, and this body here, this part of us has been traumatized by war, and this part of us is reaching out and trying to help, but both need water, both need food, both need to be taken care of emotionally and mentally. And so as we like go and like wrap around them, that everyone needs to be wrapped around. And so that's kind of my idea. So all that to say, if you're someone who has little sticks of like nutrition, like anything healthy, no like candy or anything that's not actually self-care. So like energy drinks in a stick is fine. It's like good, like vitamin ones, protein ones, but anything you can pour in a bottle of water and shake it up and just get a meal that way would be amazing. Or like bars, but basically I'm just going to be using a backpack for myself because I literally am open to staying longer if that's what God leads me to try to figure out how to help with this orphan crisis. But like while I'm there, I really want to look after the people who are working there. And so if you have actually this is like something else that I wanted to do, but if you have a note for the people working on the front lines as first responders, just something like that you have on your heart that you want to write, that would be awesome. If you have you know, even something like that you want to write to give to the Ukrainian people, best if you speak Ukrainian and do this, but someone who's suffering like the worst hardship, more hardship than really we can imagine. Like I can imagine some pretty bad hardship, but like losing your country, losing your, like watching things crumble before your eyes, losing your, like the security of having the man in your life, losing, you know, like everything disrupted, and the fear that comes with that, the fear of having to walk miles and miles and miles with nothing but a knife and pepper spray in case the army comes at you. yeah, these women have gone through like literally hell. Like it is really troubling. And so basically I don't know how to do it because I literally have like no time, like maybe a week or two. But if you have like a note that you want to write or something that is tangible, that's small and like deals with the heart and not just physical needs, because as far as physical needs go, the world has responded. Like the world saw a need, and amazingly, they have showered this area at least with provision, with warm clothes, with food, with, you know, physical needs. I think their big need is still like finding housing for everyone. And also, I think like Poland finding a way to let people in. And then also, oh my gosh, this last one that has been, you know, really on my heart is to somehow partner with someone can do this. Like if at least if I put it out there, like I might not be able to do it, but I feel like someone's got to step up, you know, and do it. But I can just see that one of the worst things happening, oh my gosh, and the old school that I did 10 years ago, they're sending a team called Unbound to deal with human trafficking. Like there's just like all these groups going, but human trafficking is happening like never before in that country, and that's already a problem everywhere. But people are literally taking victims who are so victimized and offering them help and then literally whisking them away. And so Poland and the receiving countries, especially children, like these kids cannot just be sent off identification-less. Like they have to, like there has to be some way to account for them, and there isn't. And that is a issue. That should not be happening. So basically, entire orphanages apparently have been moved from the country with no one accountable for their bodies. Like there's no way to know, is this trafficking that they've been thrown into? Like, so receiving countries or Ukraine, even though they're in like such turmoil, some government, one of these government needs to take responsibility for finding a way to safeguard these kids. So anyways, that has been 22 minutes and 50 seconds of what I'm going for, the need, and yeah, so if you want to support me, or if you want to make a gift that is tax deductible, because I'm sorry, but I'm not tax deductible as a person, but I do know really amazing works happening that where they give 100% of the proceeds to actual people on the ground, refugees, people who literally are needing something or else, you know, like, you know, they have to be helped, and it does take money to do that. So if you want to give, that would be amazing, and I can give you the links to do that, so that way, you know, a lot of people have to give anyways for their tax purposes, so why not give to something that's doing a lot of good for something that's urgent right now. And yeah, so love you all. Thank you for listening to this message, and thank you to everyone, like seriously, thank you so much to everyone who's given to me in any way, for every prayer that you've prayed, and for being my friend, for being, yeah, like it's amazing to see people coming out of the woodwork just in time. Like even, like I have to mention this, but even this lady, I don't even know what it is, but every time I feel like God says like, hey, go somewhere, and I just like know that I know I need to go, she will like bless me in some way and like give to me. And so yeah, she already has done that, and that's crazy. So anyways, I love you guys, and I will be back. I will see you again. No worries. But if, you know, if something happens, it seems like, oh my gosh, like that's so horrible, but we literally have one life to live, and I want my life to be for others and for Jesus. And so this is like so worth it for me, is to do what I'm actually made for and not just like live life for myself. And so, yeah, I know not everyone is called to this or made for it, but I really believe I am. And also, thank you for everyone who has helped me with winter clothes. I'm still like working on getting all warm clothes because this is a Hawaii girl and I do not know how to function in the cold. So basically, yeah, I'm still learning how. Most of my clothes after being here for 2 years, like a majority, is summer stuff. I can't even stay warm here because I don't know how to dress for cold. So yeah, thank you to everyone who donated. And this coat has all these like hidden messages in it. I don't even know what it is called, but I'm actually really warm just sitting here. But oops, sorry, that just ruined my video. Basically it says surviving is a spirit. It says brave new world. Like, I just was having fun reading all these things. I have my own code of ethics. I will see you again, this side or the other. This coat is so crazy. And it says, yeah, brave new world. Anyways, so my friends loaned me this coat. They're like, we would love to see it go to Poland. But I still think it's not enough coat for me to be warm because I am so weak when it comes to the cold. But anyways, thank you all again for watching, and I'll keep you posted as best I know how. Love you.